Welcome everybody, check it out, this is my desktop, and for some reason someone told me to actually talk about how I do this, drawing in Ken Sugimori style and stuff, so here you go, naked. All of it is there for you to see. Why do I keep these things separate like that? Because we got ourselves some references. Now I'm just trying to think of what trainer to draw, and I decided to pick the swimmer. Everybody loves the swimmer and how skinny he looks like. So there I go. Oh, up and away. Look at that guy go. Oh, wow, he's going so fast. Yep, I chose the swimmer today, and you can see how horrible my sketches look. They're very bad, they're very disjointed. You can see how the spine isn't working very well, and of course I have another set of references over here that I saved myself, trying to keep a collection of Ken Sugimori and different art styles from the show, so I can have a consistency and study how they draw these things, because I love the simplicity and the stylistic decisions of Pokemon anime, especially the classic ones. They're just very geometrical and very blocky and very fun, so that's why I am trying to capture that, and of course not doing a very good job. This looks like I've done this in 2011, and 2011 of course was 6 years ago, and so that's why it's very embarrassing to show you this, but I feel like it must be seen. You know, some people have to see these things to understand that this particular drawing actually kind of took a lot longer than it usually would have. And I don't know why. Maybe it's just because I just got up, or maybe it's just because I should check more references. You know, maybe the pose, because I just doing this from the inside of my head, and I'm undecided. But I do have a very specific vision in mind on how I want this swimmer to look like. So I really had this vision in my head of how the swimmer would kind of react and how his joints would be connected together, and I'm just thinking of this very Ken Sugimori blocky, simplistic style, but at the same time I can't do that. Now look at that, look at the cheating. Do you see the cheating there? That cheating is selecting and moving things around. That's what you can do with digitally. Wonderful. I usually tried not to do that, but then when I found out every professional artist does this, I'm like, why am I killing myself over this? Then I decided to put a Pokemon, because just having a half-naked man as a drawing for Pokemon, not very appealing to the general populace, I don't think. General populace. So I decided to put in a Goldeen, but I thought that was too complex, so I decided to put a little shelter going on. Then I wanted to see how goggles looked like, because I never really check references very often, and that's very sad, because you know, the thing is, I try to challenge myself and make myself look like, you know, one of those big professional artists that draw something in 3 minutes. They can draw this in 3 minutes, what I'm showing you, and this took about 27 minutes. The first half did. And they do it in 3 minutes, they don't need any guidelines, and they know everything. So that's what I'm trying to, you know, be, but I can't do that. So I have to look at reference, and now you can see the shameful act of looking at reference. Just kidding, it's not shameful. Don't do that. Don't listen to me. I'm just being very self-degrading here. Anyway, it's getting to look, now I'm going to the second layer of the sketch, which is, you know, I kind of do like 3 layers if I can't do anything right. And I'm looking at reference now of Ken Sugimori art. Isn't that something? It's very sad that most of Ken Sugimori's work isn't available like in high resolution. I know there's that book, but that book has very little Pokemon in it, and I think all of us kind of think that Pokemon is the breakthrough project that he was on. So anyway, I'm trying to get this anatomy to be working, and you can see a lot of flaws in this, and it's very unfortunate that this has to be shown to you, but maybe it's good. Maybe it's good that I show you how vulnerable it is to look at that. See, I was just very frustrated with that foot. See, because that doesn't look like Sugimori. That doesn't look like how he would draw that kind of foot in that kind of little blocky style. So now I'm trying to find Ken Sugimori art. I'm trying to find art of humans that he did. I don't think there are any old pictures of his drawings of a swimmer. And also, even if there was, I wouldn't really want to use his old pictures, because they're a little bit lacking in anatomical definition. I love how he progressed into more Yeah, again, frustrated with that foot there. And so I'm looking for swimmers crouching, and oh boy. See how this works? See how this works? You just trial and error. That's what it is. But, you know, all the real professionals, they don't have trial and error. They actually do one thing once and they finish it and they're good. I wish I had that magical power, but unfortunately I don't. So we're trying to figure out how these joints for these feet work, because that's kind of one of the things that I always try to work on. You know, real artists don't have to because they have these magical gifts like, you know, Pokemon do with their magical powers, but I have to do what every other mortal does, which is get used to it, visualize it in your head, learn it, and try to get it looking right. But now it looks really loose. This picture, it's not very, you know, pulled together. It's very loosey-goosey, and that's just breaking my heart. So at some point in this drawing stage, I stop and I give myself 15 minutes break, and I'm still on that break. So once I'm done talking to you about the technicalities here, which is just using a pencil tool on Clip Studio Paint, which is the paint studio that I'm doing this on. I'm using a Wacom Cintiq 27, which I don't deserve because I'm not good enough. But there's a shoulder, and I think I need to draw that shoulder better, because Ken Sugimori would not draw a shoulder like that. That's just, it's ugly, you know? I mean, come on. You don't want ugly pictures. But yeah, looks like my time is running out. I just got very frustrated with this, and I'm just not looking at the right places. So kids, look at the right places, and I'll be right back. Okay, boys and girls, I'm back, and I want to apologize for the first half. It was really cynical, and it was really negative, and it was really self-deprecating, and unfortunately, that's kind of how I feel a lot of times when I just can't get a drawing to work. So, you will hopefully excuse my my venting, my inner turmoil, as I try to be a little bit more positive after 15 minutes of just taking a break and going, oh, I should get up and do some jumping jacks, you know? Oh, so much more positivity. So, but when I was drawing this, unfortunately, I was being a little bit negative about it. I was being very frustrated. You'll see a lot of unhappiness. But anyway, let's try to be a little bit happier here. Okay, so this is how I did it technically. Yeah, there we go. I just noticed that the shoulders were just so far away from each other. And stuff like that, you know. So basically, there's this wonderful brush called the Yeti Rough, and I think it's a free brush for, and if it's not, then you just have to pay a little bit for, you know, the original artist who developed it. It's on Clip Studio Paint, as I said, I made. Yeah, I made Clip Studio Paint. No, I mean, I'm using Clip Studio Paint here because it has a lot of advantages. But Yeti Rough really looks like Ken Sugimori's inking from the past, so I just used that and decided that it worked out. And there I go. And I watched like 3 episodes of Pokémon in Japanese, and there we go. I got frustrated because I just realized that the nose was too long, too big, it's closing in too close to the mouth. Stuff like that. There's a lot of frustrations going on with me, and I hate, it's true, like, I think everybody, like, just hates catching stuff that, Pokemon catching, they just kind of hate catching stuff that they think was a good idea at the time when they drew it, and then they look back and go, what is my problem? So, there we go again, like, I'm looking at this and I'm going, what is this crouching thing? You know, like, the knees, how are both of these two bones collating? And also I found out that, yeah, both hands were one hand was too small, one hand was too big. But yeah, okay, let's get away from that. I know it's inappropriate, and I know that you just being negative doesn't really help a lot, you know. So here is Shelder. Everybody loves Shelder, and I don't know how to mention how to really draw a Ken Sugimori style. Just look at his drawings, memorize how he draws certain things. Oh, and I know I'm like, I don't want to be negative, but yeah, that really looks bad, Philip. Bad. Stop this, Philip. But yes, Oh, I'm trying not to be negative, but I'm looking at the toe and those feet. Oh, Philip. What's your problem, man? How can't you see these things? Maybe I need to get an air conditioner. Maybe that's a good idea. Okay, so I'm putting a thicker line out. There's like certain elements that Ken Sugimori tends to draw with. Now I'm just looking at this drawing again. Those feet are small, dude. And oh no. Yeah, the goggle is small. That left one. Oh no. You will never find that in a Beckett Pokemon strategy guide. Oh, I'm sorry. I shouldn't be negative. Okay. Yeah, and then when you flip the canvas, you see that it's been tilted at a weird angle. So guys, always flip your canvases. I really keep forgetting to do that. I think it's just like playing piano when you're sticking too much with the keys and not letting your hands go and move to different, I don't want to say registers, but different chords, like the different bars enough, and being loose. I think that puts you in a detriment, because just like painting, like me, when I'm focused, I kind of sit down and I clamp up and I try to... Oh, anyway, yeah, coloring. Okay, so what I did was I filled the color in. Don't try to be too saturated with it. And then there's this other brush, which are these Japanese ones. Like, you know, if you get Clip Studio, you can download all kinds of brushes from their library that custom users make. And this one seemed to hit a pretty good stride. There's another one called watercolor, like true watercolor brush, and that one I think worked the best. It really looked like watercolor. And so when I'm doing this now, you can see how there's a watercolor effect when you draw the shadow. And the shadow, because it's a physical medium, there's more water and paint that seeps into it, and it makes a nice little outline within the shadow. You just have to play around with it. Honestly, just look at reference like I did with Mr. Fuji over there, and just figure out how you can emulate the painterly... Wow, this is the least helpful tutorial on how to draw like Ken Sugimori, but what can you say? The proof is in his work, and then you just have to look at it, and you have to just figure out, memorize how he does certain things. And, you know, honestly, I'm not one-to-one perfect. I would like to be, because that would be fun. I mean, that's the whole point, right? The whole point is to, because if you have to follow the model sheet in animation, and it is a consistent style among, who knows, 20, 30, 50 different animators who have to do cleanup and have to do drawings for characters in animation. You know, you can't have your own style in animation. Why can't you do it with still images? Why can't you do it with this? And I'm just looking at this picture and going, no, Philip, no. Okay, never mind. Sorry. I could do better. I just... Every single time, you know? Every single time. Anyway, it's still going. I'm still experimenting, just trying to erase colors, put white, trying to make the shadows a little bit more like they were... photographed, like they were hand painted, and just keep going until you find some kind of thing, or you run out of time and you give up. Like me, that's what I do. I always think time is against me. I have to finish it. I have to be done with it. And then when I'm done, yay, it's over. Yeah, I'm sorry. I don't want to be negative, but there you go. That is kind of how you do Pokemon stuff. You know what? There will be one day where I actually put a video with me talking where I'll be very positive. Anyway, I hope you liked it, so...